We are here at the OPEC International Seminar here in Vienna, and we are honored to have with us the OPEC Secretary General. We are talking about Mr. Haitham Al Ghais. Mr. Al Ghais, thank you very much for being here with us.
Thanks to you, teleSUR. I'm very happy to meet you and to welcome you here in Vienna.
I saw the Venezuelan flag was on the right, next to OPEC flag. By protocol, one always places the most important guest on the right.
For us in OPEC, Venezuela is a founding country of our organization since 1960. I want to congratulate His Excellency President Nicolás Maduro, the government, and the Venezuelan people for the Independence Day that took place yesterday. Congratulations to Venezuela. We want Venezuela to always follow
The right line of commitment with OPEC, right?
justly Venezuela and OPEC. We are strong together, fighting together for the stabilization of the oil market since 1960. Venezuela, with the founding father, Juan Pablo Pérez Alfonso, Dr. And yesterday we also had a ceremony to commemorate the former Secretary General of OPEC, Dr. Álvaro Silva Calderón. So I wanted to say that the history between Venezuela and OPEC is very deep. Since many years ago, since 1960, the situation in the international markets, the interventions of Venezuela, the summit in Caracas, it is a very deep history. Venezuela has played a very important role in OPEC's affairs.
Mr. Secretary General, the theme of the 8th OPEC International Seminar is a responsible and inclusive energy transition. What is the challenge then, and how do we achieve that? How difficult do you understand it will be?
We at OPEC are very clear. Our position is that transition has always existed. We are not in a new transition. We have always been in transition. But this issue now, these last years, is of transition for other forms of energy. To abandon oil, gas, and to begin to base the global economy on one form of energy. We at OPEC want all forms of energy, all energy sources, oil, gas, renewable energy. Everything is going to be necessary to increase the global economy. The world is going to need 23% more energy between now and the year 2045. We are going to have an increase in the world population of 1.5 billion people. Everything cannot be one form of energy, one energy system. The world, 80% of the world energy today comes from fossil fuels. That is coal, oil, and gas. And to change to one or another form of energy in a single day, or a few years, or a decade, it is impossible. It is a dream. That's why in OPEC we call for a fair and inclusive transition. The oil industry is not the problem of the environmental issue and pollution. We believe that our producing companies, such as PDVSA and others in our member countries, are part of the solution. We have technology, we have experience, we have very intelligent people who can find technology solutions like carbon sequestration, lower flaring, and methane emissions. And we are already on the way to doing this. And we have a lot of examples in our member countries. That's why we have to always mention that it has to be fair, because there is also energy poverty in many places, in many countries in the world. In Africa, for example, there are 100 million people without electricity. And how are we going to explain to these people that they cannot produce gas, they cannot produce oil, nothing, only renewable energies? We are addressing this issue in the theme of this year's seminar, which is very important because we have people from all over the world. Yesterday, we were with the European Union Energy Commissioner, with many oil-consuming countries and companies, as well as oil-producing countries.
I was just talking to you about the challenges that OPEC has. On the first day of this seminar, we heard about speculators who would be spreading information in good or bad faith to try to create instability, either economic or financial, at a worldwide level. And in fact, many are reading that OPEC's main concern is to send a clear message of market stability, that the market is stable and therefore these speculations are not necessarily well-founded. But my question is, Russia and Saudi Arabia this week announced adjustment in their production. Will other countries join this adjustment in the following months?
First of all, the issue of speculation is not a novelty for OPEC. We do not always have experience with the various historical periods of the oil markets. We have volatility, and it is information that creates a lot of speculation. But we believe that the economy, production, and demand for oil are the most important issues to know how the market is moving forward. In OPEC, we have a very strong department. It is a research department that has a lot of experience, formed by employees from several member countries, and our fundamental focus is always on the markets, nothing else.
Of the market, right?
Exactly. To maintain the stability that is fundamental for the producing countries that are members of OPEC or other producing countries and consuming countries as well.
And then this adjustment in production announced by Saudi Arabia and Russia, is it going to continue with other OPEC producing countries?
Algeria also announced a cut of 20,000 barrels last April. We have 8 OPEC members countries that voluntarily announced adjustments also, precisely in April. However, Saudi Arabia, Russia, and Algeria announced that they will continue with extra cuts in August. Russia, for example, with 500,000 barrels a day. Saudi Arabia announced in July that it was going to cut 1 million and announced 2 or 3 days ago that they were going to continue in August. But Algeria, for example, announced an extra cut of 20,000 barrels a day. This is a proactive action because has several pieces of information that are creating more confusion about the global economy, about matters with banks from several countries. They also speculate about China opening up faster. In January and February this year, everybody expected China to open so fast to increase the demand for oil and the economy. But today we see that China is opening now with more regulation and at a slower pace than expected. There is a lot of speculation about many situations. We have to remember that we are not yet fully recovered from COVID, from the effects of the pandemic. For example, on jet fuel. In this case, we have more room on our agenda for oil demand to rise. There is still 1 million barrels per day missing worldwide that we have not yet recovered from the levels that were before COVID.
And what about the war in Ukraine? With the conflict in Ukraine, is it affecting the oil market?
The supply of oil from non-OPEC, United States, Brazil, Guyana, and from other countries is growing. And OPEC is also realizing that we have a well-balanced market and that there is no deficit in the market. Russia changed the market. It was normally selling its oil to Europe. Now it sells more to India, to China, and also Turkey. And we always see that the market is stabilizing in one way or another. But the only area where we still need a little more clarity and time is in the condition of the global economy and the demand for oil. I'm very optimistic, and I believe that in the second part of the year we are going to see more positive signs.
So we can say that oil will always be in the $80 range.
We don't have a price target because each country has a different target. Our focus in OPEC is the stability between supply and demand. For example, we say that the price is agreed between the buyer and the seller of oil.
Two final questions, Mr. Secretary General. Investment. Here we need a lot of investment because we're talking about a 23% growth by 2045, as you said, and in this seminar we're talking about investment. What can you tell us?
This is a very important question because the world has been decreasing the investments in the oil area since 2015. We are expecting that normally we have more than 600 billion every year globally. Now it is almost 400 billion. We are missing a lot. We are saying today that we have to invest to maintain the production at today's level. We have to plan for the future where the demand for oil continues to increase. In OPEC, we think that in the year 2045, the demand will reach 110 billion. 110 billion barrels per day. Now it is at 101 billion. So without investment, we are going to have a possible supply crisis in the market. This is not good for the economy. In the OPEC countries, we need to invest. I know that in Venezuela, PDVSA, the ministry is investing in refineries. I was in Venezuela in September last year. I visited the refineries and I saw the strength of the comrades who are working and fighting in PDVSA. With this interview, I wanted to thank them for their efforts, also to His Excellency Minister telesur, a great friend of mine, and to the Venezuelan people who are going forward and fighting.
Finally then, Mr. Secretary General, what will all the participants who have come here take away with them? We're talking about oil producers, oil consumers, investors, and people who defend the environment. What is the most important message you can receive from the 8th International Seminar?
It is simple. We want to maintain the stability of the oil market and the largest energy market, because energy is necessary for world economic growth. In OPEC, we continue this policy of investing. investing, 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 which was necessary to maintain production for future demand. We want the whole world to understand that the transfer from one energy transfer from one energy to another must be well managed and organized.
It's going to be slower than it is to be right.
And it depends on one country and another to create the transition path. That is why when I speak in English of transition, I say transitions. I speak of multiple transitions because Venezuela has its own transition. My country has its own transition. Africa is different from Europe. Asia is different from the Middle East, and we cannot use one way of transitioning.
There are many asymmetries.
Exactly. This is the message of the conference. I am very happy because we have several perspectives on this issue. In OPEC, we always want to promote open discussion, transparency, and this was the most important thing in this seminar.
Mr. Al Ghais, thank you very much for being here with us. We have the honor then to have with us a Secretary General of OPEC, Mr. Haitham Al Ghais, directly from the 8th OPEC seminar here in Vienna, Austria. And now we're back with you at studio.